Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. Today is the third episode of my series called Top 5, which is where I recommend 5 books that fit a particular category. Today's category is middle grade fantasy. These are great if you have young people in your life, or if you're intimidated by fantasy and want to just get your toes wet, or if you just like some lighter fantasy fare. These are also wonderful. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like bookish content. And if you'd like to see the other episodes, I will link the playlist in the description below. Coming in at number 5 is The Amulet of Samarkand by Jonathan Stroud. This is actually a trilogy, but I'm only going to be talking about the first book. We follow Nathaniel. He is relinquished by his parents and given to a magician to apprentice. His master is very cruel to him, and one day, when other magicians are gathered, he is embarrassed by a man. Not just embarrassed, humiliated. And he vows he's going to study magic and get his revenge on this magician. He starts studying, and he summons a djinn, Bartimaeus, and he wants to use the djinn as part of the way for him to get back at the magician. However, Bartimaeus is untrustworthy, sarcastic, and very antagonistic. It is not going to be easy to wrangle him into the plans Nathaniel wants to do. However, they do team up and take down a force of evil. I loved this book. I thought it was great. I especially really like Bartimaeus as a character. And when I found out this was middle grade, I was very surprised because it is not dumbed down at all. The writing is great. And if you like it, there are more in this series. But this definitely can be a standalone if you only want to commit to one book. At number 4, I recommend The Trouble Girls of Dragomir Academy by Anne Ursu. This is set in a magical world where only men and boys have magical powers, the ability to be sorcerers. And one day, when Maria's brother is having kind of a magical interview to see what kind of magic he has, what he can do with the magic, Maria kind of misbehaves and gets sent off to a boarding school full of other girls. Strange stuff starts happening at the boarding school, and Maria decides she is going to investigate. And what she finds out is quite surprising. This had some really interesting world building, felt very fresh and new, and had feminist vibes. Definitely recommend this. At number 3 is the only book I do not own, A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. I read this recently, and oh my gosh, it is such a cute and fun story. This is also part of a quartet, but I've only read the first 2. The story focuses on 3 girls, the Wittershin sisters. They live on an island with their very strict grandma because their mother is dead and their father is in prison. The middle sister, Betty, really chafes at the fact that she is not allowed to leave this island and hatches a scheme to try and go to a nearby town for a festival. Her grandmother reveals that they are not allowed to leave because of the family curse, and Betty sets out to try to reverse this curse. The grandma also reveals that the family has been passing down 3 magical artifacts, and they are their so-called pinch of magic. This was a ton of fun, very fast-paced, and I really enjoyed it. And if you like it, there's more in the series. At number 2, I recommend Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is also a trilogy, but only the first 2 books are out. This focuses on Amari. She is looking for her missing teen brother who has disappeared 6 months ago. While they had gone to the police, because this family is black and because they live in a poor area, the police feel like the brother probably either ran away or got involved in drugs. So Amari makes it her mission to figure out what happened to her brother. One day she receives a message from him telling her all about this magical world that exists and that he is sponsoring her place in it. Amari joins this magical world, trying to get closer to her brother and figure out what happened to him. This is chock full of really interesting world building, but also is really important with social issues as well. I really loved it, and I feel Amari is a very strong character, and can't wait to read the 3rd book whenever it comes out. At my number 1 spot, I'm recommending Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is an incredibly popular children's series now. So I'm sure you've probably heard of it. But if you haven't, this is about Morrigan Crow. Because of the date that Morrigan Crow was born, she is called a cursed child. And anything that happens in her city that is wrong, they blame on her. She's expected to die on her 11th birthday, but just before she does, a magical man named Jupiter whisks her away to this magical land called Nevermore. He enters her into a competition for her to enter the Wondrous Society. The world building in this is so amazing. There is the hotel that is run by the giant magic cat who talks, one of my favorite characters. There's just so much world building in this, and there are 3 books out currently, and a 4th is supposed to be published next year. I have a ton of middle grade fantasies on my TBR, but definitely recommend ones that you think belong on this list so that if I ever make a follow-up, I'll have plenty to choose from. Let's have a chat in the comments below. Thank you for joining me. Bye.